But the other thing that we both discovered was this. A lot of times couples, when they have physical intimacy, it's usually viewed as possibly maybe a kind of a selfish thing. I want to feel, what I want to feel, and you want to feel what you feel, and right? It took on a whole different view, a whole different point of view. It's like, I just want to give to you because I get more satisfaction out of giving to you than you giving to me, no matter how wonderful it is. I get more fulfillment. So I went 4 months without, quote unquote, release. And not once was I frustrated. Not once was I feeling like I was cheated. Quite the contrary. I felt like I was blessed like you would not believe. And so I know this might be kind of hard to kind of fathom, but this is what happened. I'm just sharing our experience, and that's all I can do. I'm not trying to tell anybody here how to make love. God, no. I'm not trying to say that this is the way. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying these are the possibilities. This is what we discovered. And so it's interesting. I actually did get my function back briefly. Because I went to my doctor, my surgeon, and I said, you know what? My partner and I have been having unbelievable, way beyond anything he had heard of before. And I said, but we'd like to feel what intercourse feels like. And he says, okay, there is one thing you could probably do that might work. And it's a direct injection. It's called Cerviject, I think. And it is, it's not as bad as it sounds. No, it's really, no. Well, yes, it is, but that's okay. That's freaking painful, man. No, God. Huh?
Where is it injected?
Where is it injected? Direct injection, right into the penis. And it's like, yeah, I know, ow. It's not as bad as sucking your left nut in that vacuum pump, though, I'll tell you. That was far worse. So we did that, and that sucker worked. I got a blue steel hard-on for 3 hours, and I'm going, whoa, check this out. Honey, you looking? And we made wonderful, beautiful love in the form of intercourse. Now, this is where it gets really weird. Afterwards, we looked at each other, and without saying a word, we both knew it didn't even come close to what we had. So since then, I've never used it. And so the question is, would I want it back? The answer is sure, if I felt I could control that urge. Because here's the thing, this is the other thing I discovered, and this is the basis for a lot of my book that's going to be coming out in 2014, that the way men and women are biologically and culturally wired literally gets in the way of what our hearts truly yearn for, which is deep, abiding connection. Intercourse is what we're hardwired for because it's based on the procreation of our species. It works well, and it feels wonderful most of the time. But that's its primary function, procreation. And the way men and women are wired, very differently. The response is very different for men and women. And so what happened for me is that my erectile dysfunction, my full impotence, the gift of it, short-circuited that wiring. So now, for the first time in my life, I was able to experience levels of intimacy I did not even know was possible. Nor did she. We are capable, as human beings, of such deep connection. I'm just now getting a taste of it. This is a taste of it right now. This is a form of deep connection, for me anyway. But we can go so deep. We can go so connected. And whether that's expressed emotionally, physically, or spiritually, it can happen in such a powerful way. So those are the insights that I received, and what we received from this adventure. An adventure that if you had scripted this out and put it into a movie script, I would say it would never sell because no one's ever going to believe it. But I have since found out that about 15% of couples who are affected by ED actually have very similar experiences. So I did a lot of research on this. And I decided that part of my mission was to help couples who are affected by ED because it's devastating. And what happens a lot too is that men in particular will not talk about it because it is so core to who we see ourselves as men. It is the biggest white elephant in our culture today. It is where breast cancer was 20, 30 years ago. And it needs to be talked about. It needs to be discussed openly, without shame, without feelings of, I'm somehow less of a man. Because here is the other thing that came out of this. I could have chosen to view myself as less than a man because I can't get it up. Or I could choose to look at myself as a man by how well I deeply connected and pleased my partner. Now that one is something I have total control over. I have no control over the equipment, but I have absolute control of how open I am to my partner, how deeply I'm willing to give to her, and hopefully please her. And that's the distinction. And so we can choose to look at ourselves. What I'm saying is there's a choice. And our culture is such that with every other odd commercial being the little blue pill, right? And implying that without it, you're not a man. With it, you're a stud. And plus everything else that's depicted in pornography, or everything else that's depicted. I mean, our culture is literally rife with this. And it's very understandable. Like I said, this is for primarily procreation, and this is kind of how we came about. But we've evolved past that. And it's interesting because women usually get what I'm saying, like right now, right? And with men, I have to be very, very, very careful about how I express this. Because first of all, every man in this room who functions normally, you can do something I will never be able to do again. And I acknowledge you for that. And I think that's actually a good thing. But everything that we are able to do, you are also available to you if you're open to those possibilities. And that's all it takes, is being open to those possibilities. So, you know, it's a matter of looking at what I was handed and saying, okay, now what? Now what do I do? Now how do I handle it? And it's not like, okay, I'm some kind of positive, thinking guy that says, oh yeah, I'm going to turn this lemon into lemonades. No, I didn't expect this to happen. This was totally unexpected. And that's what makes it so powerful. That's why I want to share it so much.